Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite. And I was going to say it right now, a couple things for this show. A, I didn't think it was one of the better Dynamites. B, the crowd sucked. Like, this crowd just did not react to most things. The crowd was not good tonight. And C, I think Tony Khan's been listening to a bunch of different people that critique his shows and podcasters and whatnot, because everyone over this last week has been saying, no one watches Collision, give us recaps. We got 2 or 3 different Collision recaps on tonight's broadcast, so that's really good, because I know a lot of people did not see that Tony Storm angle from last week. Dynamite, so let me go into the weeds a little bit here. Dynamite will normally do anywhere from 700 to 800,000 viewers. And it's usually closer to the 700, if not lower. Last week's AEW Dynamite, where Tony Storm turned back into Timeless Tony Storm, did 250,000 viewers. So I'm going to do a little bit of math here really fast. I'm going to get the number for, so let me get the viewership number for last week's Dynamite. I'm going to compare that, do a little math. So last week's Dynamite, oof, that was a low show. 655,000 divided by 250,000. Oh, I did that wrong. 655 divided by 250. So about 35 to 40% of the people that watched Dynamite last week watched Collision. 35%. So that is 75%, if I'm doing the math, 70%-ish, 75%, 65%, my bad. That's about 65% of the audience that did not see the Tony Storm angle. So I'm glad that they ran the recap. Then they ran the recap of the Hobbs and Big Bill stuff from 2 weeks ago. And then, good on them for knowing, hey, Dynamite ain't doing well. People don't watch the show, but you've got storylines that are intertwined between both shows. So let us know what happened if we didn't see it. Because like myself, I was watching Saturday night's main event and only watched Collision for the Tony Storm angle. Didn't watch the whole show. I saw on Twitter, Tony Storm turned back into Timeless Tony Storm, and I go, oh, crap. Let me go to my YouTube TV where I have the show on DVR and check it out. Literally only watched that segment. So that's the other thing. They were against WWE competition, which always hurts them. So that's probably why the rating was extra low last week. But regardless, that is a positive that they did tonight, that they did do the recaps, letting us know, hey, in case you missed this, these are some big things you may need to know. But we also got Luke here with us. Luke, what's going on?
Not much. My class actually got canceled tonight, so I was able to help out with the review, which is kind of cool. But as far as Dynamite does go, it was pretty boring.
Yeah.
I would honestly much rather be in class than watch Dynamite.
Damn. Now, I'm going to read this here really fast. I told you about this already, but it's a report from Fightful that apparently things got shuffled on the show because Powerhouse Hobbs was not cleared to compete. So apparently, Hobbs was supposed to be factored into a bunch of things on tonight's show. He was there, but he wasn't cleared to be on the show. And so we don't know exactly what all got changed, but it looks like a number of things got changed, as Fightful did report the following. AEW star wasn't cleared for action tonight. Fightful Sean Rossap has learned that Powerhouse Hobbs was not cleared for action tonight, which is why we ended up seeing a pre-tape with him. He was actually at the venue and willing to perform. Hobbs had stitches that were not healed up yet and was told that he needed an additional week before he could be cleared. Hobbs was heavily factored into tonight's Dynamite and Collision tapings, and as a result, there was a domino effect of changes. A reminder, never mind. But yeah, so we don't know exactly what all got changed and moved and flipped around, but Hobbs was supposed to be factored into a number of things on the Dynamite broadcast, and then they're filming Collision right after as well. Collision will be filmed tonight. So I don't know exactly what had to be changed. Fightful is very vague in their reporting here. But yeah, so just an okay show, if I'm going to say so. We'll get into all of that. But first off, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And you greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to help us out over on YouTube. You can help us out over there by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, if you want to help us out in another way, you can do so by becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get access to all of our graphics packages. So say we got special graphics we made for this week's Royal Rumble. Next week, you will get access to both the Photoshop and the After Effects files. Plus, you will get early access to the tutorial showing you how to create those graphics from scratch if you want to, before it goes out live for everybody on YouTube. Plus, we're doing watch-alongs. We got one that we did last week of the 1992 Royal Rumble. I'm doing a Q&A next week as well. We'll do one of those a month, and if they gain traction and there's a lot of interest, we'll do two of those a month. But right now, we're going to start with one a month and then go forward. And then, of course, everybody does get, even if it's just at the $1 tier, special emotes and emojis you can use in the live chat and in the comment section. So we're really trying to give you guys some sort of value for supporting us in a monetary way. And if there are anything maybe you guys are interested in that you want to see us create or do or talk about, maybe we can give you that over there on Patreon or as a channel member. Remember, you can subscribe hitting the join button on YouTube as a channel member or at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Also, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. Finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Whether you're buying something on your computer or you're getting something on the new Epic Games mobile store, use our code and help us out. It's PWU NLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Also, Captain Jack Sparrow is available right now in the shop for Fortnite. Maybe you want to go grab him. Use our code. It's going to ask you if you have a creator code, and you do. It's PW Unlimited. With all of that, let's go. Why is my button not working? Boom. Boom. Now you see Luke. It wasn't switching over there for a second. So as far as Dynamite does go, Dynamite comes on the air with Excalibur welcoming us alongside Tony Schiavone and Taz. And how refreshing is it to have Taz back? I love Taz on commentary. I've loved Taz since the early 2000s when it was him and Michael Cole calling SmackDown. Taz has he's for a long time been one of my more favorite commentators. So glad to have Taz back the last couple of weeks. But Taz is there and Will Ospreay's music plays. He comes out for his match with Brian Cage. They promote him teaming with Will Ospreay at Grand Slam Australia to take on Brian Cage, Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. Now, we got to talk about that Grand Slam Australia show, because I don't think many people are going to be watching it. I'm just going to say that right now. So originally, they told us AEW is going to Australia, run like a 40,000 seat stadium, and it's going to be this big grandiose show. They had Tony Storm and Paul White, the Big Show, out there doing media, and then we find out they're not selling tickets. They're not able to fill even a quarter of this building. They move it to a 13,000 seat building. Then that building, they're having trouble selling tickets. This week, late last week to early this week, they start doing the 2-for-1 deal. And Tony Khan has always been adamant of, this is not a pay-per-view. I am not going to charge people to watch a show in the middle of the night that most are going to be asleep during and not watch live. So I'm not going to charge people extra to watch something that for most people is going to be spoiled by the time they're awake. Kudos on Tony Khan for that. But then he keeps getting asked, okay, it's not a pay-per-view. You're not going to, provide it through pay-per-view means or Triller TV or this or that, how we watch it. And he was just like, we'll know in due time. We'll know in due time. We'll know in due time. And so, like, was it 2-3 weeks ago? Not Tony, but AEW puts up a graphic for Mariah May versus Tony Storm. And it says, February 15th, TNT, stream on Max, 8 p.m. Eastern. And so everyone's like, oh, it's just taking the Collision spot. But then we realize, wait, no. That is actually when NBA All-Star Saturday Night activities will be airing on TNT. So that's a no-go. That can't happen. So last week, nothing. They don't tell us anything. Graphics don't have a time, nothing. Well, then today, TNT actually updated their schedule on their website, and it now states that AEW Collision on the 15th will air at 10:30 Eastern after all the NBA stuff wraps up. So even if the NBA stuff goes long, it'll air when the NBA stuff is over. They're hoping that it starts at 10 Eastern. Now, granted, it's not the NBA All-Star game. It's just festivities like the dunk shot, and I think they're hoping to get a Steph Curry, Caitlin Clark 3-point shootout thing. But most of that is pretty timed out already. So it's not like that's going to really go overtime like the All-Star game could. So that should, whatever, but it's 10:30 at night. And TNT is only thinking of it as just a collision. So is this just a random 2-hour collision? I don't know if that's like everyone's going to be hyped up to watch that, especially that late at night for people on the East Coast and Central Time. What do you think, Luke?
I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer for that. I really don't.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say right now, whether the number is good or bad, it's a throwaway number. Because if it's bad because it's so late at night when it's starting. If it's good, it's probably only going to be good because of the NBA stuff, and it's going to have just a killer lead-in. So it's going to be to where people either leave their just TVs on, and that's why they get the rating they get, or the first quarter, the first 15 minutes is going to have some big number because people hadn't switched off yet once the NBA stuff ends. So it's unfortunate. They're building this up like a big, super big event, and it's just a collision, to be completely honest. It's just a collision. So we'll see.
I can't even remember the last time I watched Collision.
Honestly, like I said earlier, I only watched the Tony Storm thing from Collision this week, and like for the last month, I've only put Collision on as like background noise to fall asleep to, because I'm like, I can't fall asleep easily if it's just dead silent. I need something. So sometimes if it's a Saturday night, I'll just be like, oh, I'll put Collision on. That was on earlier. But I'm like not paying attention to the show. It's on the computer over here or the TV, and I'm rolled over the other way listening till I fall asleep.
Jeez, what time do you go to bed?
Oh, well past midnight. 2-3 in the morning most nights.
I was like to fall asleep to? Like what time are they air Collision?
Well, Collision airs here at 7. So I have it on the DVR. So that's why I'm like, oh, Collision was on earlier in the night. I'll put that on in the background as background noise to fall asleep to.
Oh, so like it's pre-recorded.
Yeah, I have my YouTube TV is set to record Collision every Saturday, whether I watch it or not.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I just have it set for the DVR. I had Raw, NXT I have set to record, SmackDown I have set to record, Dynamite and Collision. All those set, and I had Rampage set to record. I barely ever went back and watched the Rampage recordings. But I had those all set on the DVR as well. Because cool thing about YouTube TV, unlimited DVR storage. But these bastards keep raising the prices. You know how much YouTube TV is now?
How much?
$82.99. It was like $60 when I first Excuse me. It was like 60 when I first got it a couple years ago.
Like per year?
No, $82.99 a month for YouTube TV, cable TV. Yeah. If it wasn't for wrestling and NASCAR, I'd cancel it. But I need those because I can go and, I got other means to watch regular TV shows. Like every ABC show you want to watch goes to Hulu the next day, or every, certain shows they're on streaming services that I got. But it's like live sports. That's really the only reason I still have TV or pay for cable, which is YouTube TV. That's the only reason. For football, we watch. Everyone in this house watches football. For NASCAR, for the live wrestling and stuff. If it wasn't for live sports, I would have cut YouTube TV. But yeah, the start of this year, they raised the price to $82.99, another $10. So, all spit. Before we move forward, we do have a bit donation from Esports Gaming Rules, 2 of them actually. He says, any more info on Shane McMahon and AEW rumors because we haven't seen Shane since those photos in 2024, and does this mean Shane coming back to WWE? So Dave Meltzer actually talked about this recently. He was asked basically the exact same question. And there are many in both WWE and AEW under the assumption that Shane never had intentions on going to AEW, that he would have been interested. But really, when all that stuff came up on the Jim Ross podcast of, oh yeah, maybe Shane would be interested, Shane heard it, got a wild hair up his ass, and thought it can get him some attention. To the point of, if people in WWE think that he could be going to AEW, they'll call him up and say, oh, no, don't go work for them, come back to us. It hasn't happened, but that is the belief amongst many in the industry, that Shane only did it to try and trick WWE into wanting to bring him back if they think he would go to AEW. So there was like a slight chance that he would do it if anything were to come of it, but it's thought of as more of him trying to get WWE interested in him again. So I don't know. Also, Esports Gaming Rule says WWE NXT has a YouTube channel now. Looks like WWE is growing their YouTube channel network. So what this is basically when, when CW took over the NXT rights, in those negotiations and deals, it stated that no NXT content could be on other platforms as far as streaming platforms, where they wanted everything going forward with NXT to be on the CW app. And in turn, pull everything off of Peacock. Well, WWE had nowhere for NXT to live. And because it couldn't be on Peacock anymore, they got the okay to put it on Netflix. So they've started basically a Netflix Vault channel. Like they have the WWE Vault channel. Now they have a Netflix Vault channel, or NXT Vault channel, with all old NXT shows. They have full episodes of NXT, old NXT takeovers and PLEs. Really cool. Really cool. And then I'm on this I didn't even know I was on it till a couple days ago, but apparently I've been on this for like 2 months. This email chain through Google Docs where somebody, I don't even know who this person is going through both the WWE Vault and this new NXT YouTube channel and keeping a spreadsheet of everything that's on there and whatnot. So that's really cool. I appreciate whoever added me to this. I don't know who it is. It's like the email is it's like NXT something. So whoever started it and added me, appreciate it. Because I don't have to just go onto those YouTube channels and see. I can literally just go to the spreadsheet and boom, it's all right there for both the Vault and actually no, they've got a thing on there that shows me everything on the Vault YouTube channel, everything on the NXT YouTube channel, everything's still on Peacock, and everything that's now on Netflix. So whoever added me to that, appreciate it, because I didn't even realize it until like 2 days ago. Esports Gaming Rules also says no one cares about Mercedes Moné. Oh, we'll talk about this, bud. We'll talk about that. So I'll cycle back to that one. But the second question, and I do appreciate all the bit donations. Remember, if you guys want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating bits on Twitch or super chats on YouTube. One for you, Luke. What do you think of Triple H being surprised about his induction into the Hall of Fame?
Not gonna lie, I didn't really expect it, mainly because I didn't think Triple H was gonna be like one of those guys where he wanted like something to be like all about him. I thought he was, because I kind of thought Triple H wanted like big moments to be like, it's about you guys, it's not about me, kind of thing. But
I mean, yes and no. That's how Vince always was. Like, Vince had a rule: don't talk about me in your Hall of Fame speech. I don't want it to be about me at all. Like, don't talk about me. Like, Vince had that rule because, like you were saying, it's not about me, it's all about you. But as we've been seeing, Triple H is the face of this company. Triple H is there every time there's a big moment. Boom, Triple H is there to show his face, take the credit, and whatnot. So it makes a lot of sense. But apparently this was a Nick Khan call. Like, Triple H had no idea they wanted to do it this year. And that brings me to my other question that I proposed earlier. We know that last year, Triple H was the one that curated the whole lineup of the Hall of Fame. He called everybody, said, are you interested? Would you do it? Would you like to be in it? This and that. So my question is, if he's now the headliner, did he already have someone else in mind to be a headliner? That's my question. And if so, who could it have been? Who was Triple H thinking of as the big name he wanted to go into the Hall of Fame this year? That is now not the top name because he's the top name. That's an interesting one to think about. And so we'll see over the next 2 months, 3 months, 2.5, who else gets announced. But if we, look back at previous years, it's normally like 3 men, a woman, and a tag team. So, and I kind of thought, go for it.
I kind of thought maybe it could have been Batista.
So Batista's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? A headliner. Like, if Batista's going in, no one's going to be, quote unquote, above him. And Triple H no one's ever going to be above Triple H in his year. So Batista's thing is interesting because it's more of a scheduling thing, and it's got to be a year where nobody else is going in that's bigger than Batista. And so a lot of years they try to do who's big in the area. Well, I can't think of anybody that's not in WWE's Hall of Fame already that is significant to Las Vegas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because last year's Hall of Fame, we had...
It was Paul Heyman.
Well, no. I'm looking at everything. It was actually different. Like, usually it's a couple males, a female. Oh, I forgot celebrity as well. But last year we had 2 females. We had Bull Nakano and The Rock's mom, Leah Maivia, Grandma, which is still a weird one. But so it was Thunderbolt Patterson, Paul Heyman, Leah Maivia, Bull Nakano, the U.S. Express, and then Muhammad Ali. But normally, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the year before that with Ray. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like roughly 5 to 6 names. And last year they didn't do a Warrior Award. So
I think they stopped doing that.
Yeah, I think I heard that they may not be doing that anymore at all. So, but yeah, we'll see exactly who else gets nominated and announced. But very cool for Triple H, especially the way that he just wasn't expecting it.
So yeah, I'm curious to see like who else in this class is going to get inducted.
I'm trying to think who is significant for Vegas, but I just can't think of anybody.
Or significant to Triple H almost.
Well, no, I don't think they would. They never do that. They don't like pick a headliner and theme everything around the headliner. It's more of a lot of times like when JBL went in, they did it because he went in because it was Texas.
No, JBL went in during the Tampa one.
Well, he was supposed to. Well, no, he was supposed to go in when they were in Texas and the COVID stuff happened. Everything got shut.
The Texas one, that was the Undertaker.
Yes, because he's from Texas. When Austin went in, they were in Texas. So it's like sometimes they do the whole. It makes sense because of the area. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Like Diamond Dallas Page, Orlando. He's a Florida guy. Makes sense. I'm trying to just look at other ones. You know who would have made? Who would have really made sense for Vegas, but they're already in? Would be Godfather. You want to induct somebody in Vegas, Godfather. But he's winning, what, 2015, 2016, something like that? Like Sting. Sting's from Texas. He went in 2016. That was another one. Jacqueline, she was from Texas, 2016. Fabulous Freebirds, Texas, 2016.
Or the Paul Heyman one, Philadelphia.
Yep. Very significant to Philly. So then you have other ones where it's like Kevin Nash went in San Francisco. Okay. Rikishi went in that same year too, and his family is from the Northern California area, so that one made sense. Rikishi there. Also, Schwarzenegger going in California technically made sense too, since he was the former governor.
Well, who was the headliner in the 2013 one? That was Bruno Sammartino, correct?
It was 13 was, if it was the Bruno year, which I think it was that the same year Booker went in?
It was Booker, Bob Backlund.
Foley was that year too. And then Trish. Oh, that was the Trump year in New York.
Is that the year Trump got in?
That was Trump in New York. I'm pulling it up right now.
Wait, Mick Foley, was he the headliner that year?
Bruno was. I got it right here. Bruno was the headliner. So it was Bruno, Bob Backlund, Booker T, Mick Foley, Trish, and Trump. Yeah.
How's the Trump one make sense?
Trump being in the Hall of Fame. Trump's done a lot with WWE.
No, I mean like the town.
He's from,
or like the city they're in.
Because he's technically from New York.
Is Mick Foley even from New York?
Long Island. Yep. Foley's from Long Island or something. He's up there in New York. He's from the area. I think he was born in like Indiana, but grew up in New York. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong on that one. I just remember always hearing the stories of Foley grew up in New York after he was like a certain age. But as far as this Dynamite does go, we got to talk about this show, or we're gonna be here forever if we don't. So it was Will Osprey versus Brian Cage, and right as the match was about to start, Don Callis took the microphone and told Osprey, "Look at the big screen," and they showed Kenny Omega being attacked. He was being checked on, and it looked like Omega was down and out and dead. Callis laughed maniacally, and Cage attacked Osprey. Osprey responded with a big Hurricane Rana to the floor and tried to follow it up with a dive, but Cage sidestepped and leveled Osprey with a lariat. Osprey managed to post Cage, sprung to the guardrail, but leapt into the clutches of Cage, who walked around ringside with a stalling suplex. Cage took the ref, allowing Archer and Callis to get in some cheap shots on Will. Osprey at one point couldn't get a back suplex on Brian Cage, on Brian Cage, but he was kind of able to like trap Cage in the corner and eventually hit him with the Chicken Nando's kick at a Pip Pip Cheerio. Got a near fall off fit. Cage tried a German suplex, but Osprey floated over. Booted Cage to the outside, where he was met with a Sasuke special. Archer then ran distractions long enough for Cage to recover and hit the suplex from the outside for a 2. Osprey slipped out of a powerbomb with multiple hook kicks, tried the Os Cutter, and Cage caught him for multiple lariats and a Liger Bomb for a 2. At one point, Cage managed an avalanche F5, and Osprey got his foot on the ropes to break the count. But Archer shoved it off. Ref saw it. There we go. Ref scolded Archer. The delay here allowed Osprey to counter a powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana, and then he hits the Styles Clash, and oh man, hitting the Styles Clash on a guy as big as Cage, a little scary looking, because it's like Cage is so big. He had Cage way, like the way he was holding Cage up seemed lower than normal. And so I'm like, Cage, pull the head back, pull the head back, pull the head back, and everything went fine. He hits him with Styles Clash, bada bing, bada boom. There we go. I'm loving the change up here where he's not always winning with the hidden blade. He's been winning matches here recently with that Styles Clash. What did you think of the match?
I thought the match was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a great opener.
Oh, yeah. Probably the best thing on the show. This and the little post-match skirmish.
Yeah. I'm going to check something real quick. I'll be right back.
Go for it. So, I didn't know he was going to go off like that. All good. Let's switch this here. Boom. I'll know when he comes back. So post-match, Archer attacks immediately with Cage joining in. Kenny Omega's music hits, and then Kenny just comes down perfectly fine with a chair. Just comes down perfectly fine with a chair. I'm like, what? I thought this guy was killed backstage. Osprey and Omega's attention turns to Cage and Archer, allowing Konosuke Takeshita and Fletcher to hit the ring. They make it 4-on-2. Takeshita hit a bastard driver on Omega, while Fletcher delivered a tombstone on Osprey. As Callis joined in the ring, and then they beat down Omega and, excuse me, I'm trying not to burp. They beat down Omega and Osprey a little bit more, and then Osprey, they took a bunch of punishment. So the heels took the advantage, made the baby faces look weak. It was okay. Probably the best thing on the show, though. I would say that for sure. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to turn this fan on. It's getting a little warm in this room. Getting stuffy. It's super cold here right now. Got the heater going. Because the heater's going. It's making the room stuffy. And there, gotta get some air circulating. So Mariah gets outside of Swerve's locker room, and then all of a sudden, Hangman just barges in, opens the door, and goes, "Nope, not here." And she's like, "Hangman, what's going on? What are you doing?" And he's just walking around, and he bumps into MJF. And, like, they have a little stare down. Max mocks him. He's like, "Look at this guy out here doing whatever he wants, thinks he's king ding-a-ling, and the crowd loves him. But I come back, and I'm called a hypocrite." MJF kept on talking, and Renee's trying to get his attention or whatever. He goes, "Oh, sorry, ADD. I got sidetracked. What's up?" I'm like, this is weird. She asked him about Jeff Jarrett and whatnot, and MJF said, "Jarrett will learn tonight that he shouldn't have dealt with the devil. But he'll be beaten by a horse, half man, half horse, in Claudio Castagnoli." MJF said that tonight, the last outlaw of his last ride. And he goes, "Ain't I great?" We go to a pre-recorded video. We already talked about this earlier with Powerhouse Hobbs. He was supposed to be more incorporated into the show, but because he's got some stitches that have not fully healed yet, they wouldn't clear him to compete or do anything physical. So Hobbs is there, and he said, unfortunately, he wasn't cleared to travel to Dynamite tonight, which is not true. He was there, but anyways. He said when he is cleared, he's going to come to the show and come for Big Bill. Commentary then told us that Bill hit Hobbs with a brick, hence why Hobbs isn't cleared. And I'm like, okay. And they actually showed it. So I'm like, oh, we're actually getting some recaps, ladies and gentlemen. Very cool. We got Luke back. All good?
Yeah, it was like getting really hot in here, and I had to check my thermostat. I was like, why the heck is it getting so hot in here? I'm like sitting here hallucinating.
I did the same thing. You walked away, and I was like, I need to turn that fan on. I need some air to circulate because we have the heater going because it's super cold here right now, and it makes my room like not hot, but it gets like stuffy and hard to breathe.
No, like earlier today, my room was like 80 degrees.
Jeez. Damn.
And I'm like, I need to check, like, what's going on with my thermostat. I almost had, like, tomorrow I'm going to have to, like, fill in a maintenance report. Like,
huh. That is weird.
Because I know 3 weeks ago I had to, like, get a battery replaced in it.
Mm.
So now I'm like, what the heck is going on?
So basically all you really missed was me talking about post-match where Osprey and Omega got beat down. The weird Hangman MJF stuff. Like Hangman just barging into Swerve's locker room and looking for something. And then MJF talking about Jeff Jarrett. Not much. Then we got our first match. Actually, no, our second match. I'm dumb. Second match of the night. Claudio, Jeff Jarrett. If Jeff Jarrett wins, he gets a shot at the AEW World title. Did anybody at all going into this show think that Jeff Jarrett was going to win?
No.
No, not at all. Claudio out here beating a 70-year-old man. He's not really 70, but it's like, come on. That's an issue that I've been hearing a lot of. Why are there so many older guys on this show? Why are there so many guys in their late 40s and older? The tag team champions are 48 and 49 years old. Did you know that?
I didn't actually. Wait.
Bobby is 40. Bobby's 48 and Shelton's 49. Benjamin will be 50 years old this year.
Shelton don't even look that old, honestly.
Nope. He's like goddamn R-Truth. Still looks like he's in his late 30s. Mid to late 30s.
Yeah, him and Bobby, they don't age. Bobby's looked the same since like 2005 or 2006.
Other than like his physique, yeah, Bobby's looked the same. Because back in the day, when Bobby first started in WWE, like 2005, his head always felt a little like, and no disrespect or anything, his head always seemed a little small for his head. When during his first run in WWE, when he was ECW champion and all that kind of stuff, it always looked weird. No disrespect. No disrespect. We're just saying. But I think it was because he got his shoulders so big that it like just overpowered the size of his head. So as far as this match just goes, a quick hip toss and some arm drags from Jarrett early on as he followed this up with some corner punches and bunches. Claudio escapes and hit a lariat. Jarrett avoided a neutralizer attempt and locked in a figure four, but Castagnoli quickly got to the ropes to break the hold. This then led to, Wheeler Yuta. I almost said Euler Wheeler. I almost switched out W and U, or Y. Anyways, Wheeler Yuta strolls out from the crowd and begins arguing with Jarrett, which I'm like, oh, shit. More of this dumbass Death Rider stuff. Basically the House of Torture in New Japan. When things returned, Castagnoli had taken control, keeping Jarrett grounded with a double stomp for a 2. Castagnoli fired off some uppercuts, but Jarrett responded with some right hands in the picture-in-picture break. Jarrett at one point really zoned in on the leg, but missed an enziguri, resulting in Castagnoli doing the giant swing. Castagnoli started selling his leg, but he still applied the sharpshooter. Jarrett somehow reversed it into his own sharpshooter, which is really cool. Yuta then slid a chair into the ring. After eating a right hand from Jarrett, Yuta held the referee, and Castagnoli went for the chair shot, missed, and Jarrett was about to hit the stroke when, John Moxley comes out, hits him with the paradigm shift. Castagnoli follows this up with multiple neutralizers and pins him to pick up the victory. This match sucked. What'd you think?
Yeah, it was really just a nothing match.
It was all, if Jarrett thinks he's better than the Death Riders, we'll show him. Oh, I remember the other thing that I was happy they recapped. It was the Death Riders interview with Renee that aired yesterday on YouTube. That was the third thing that I was glad that they did the recap thing of. Because that's Moxley telling why he's doing what he's doing, which is not really any new information. Basically, Moxley just said, I'm here to make sure everyone's not lazy, respects the business, and make a bunch of John Moxleys. If everyone just acts like me, then everyone will be good. I'm like, oh. And then, I know I'm getting my head of myself because they show this later, but fuck it. Because this was the dumbest part. Are we supposed to believe that Renee has no clue about any of this and they don't speak when they're at home?
Yeah, if they're going to have someone interview Moxley, it needs to be someone who's not married to him.
Because she's asking him all these questions and I'm like, wouldn't you know the answer? Or at least shouldn't you know the answer? Like, what do you talk about at home? Your kid and that's it? The freaking Cincinnati Bengals? Like, right. Come on. She's over here interviewing him. And in the interview, because I watched this video yesterday, in the interview, playing it off like she doesn't know the answer. Like, she's curious to know as well. Not of, well, I know what you're going to say, but for everybody else, tell them. No, it's like she's playing it off of, why are you doing this? Why did you pick Marina? Why Wheeler? I don't know. But go watch it. It's actually really well done. A close up with Renee Paquette. It's just weird. It's just very weird. This ain't the first time they've done stuff like this where it's like Moxley does something and then right after, it's like pay-per-view stuff. Moxley does things like when the Bryan one, they pulled Renee from the post show. So that was a good one. But there's other things where like Death Riders do something and Renee's there on the post show going, I wonder what that was all about. What? You don't know what your husband does and did and what? So you guys just don't talk at home? Anyways, we got more Jeff Jarrett stuff. After the match, Jarrett slowly recovers. The crowd starts chanting for him as he's in the ring by himself. Death Riders had disappeared. MJF's music hits, and Taz says it was smart of MJF to pick his spot now. MJF was about to talk when he then just ran in and hit Jeff Jarrett with the diamond ring. MJF then knelt down next to him saying he respects his elders, so he's not going to say that he told them so. MJF then walks to the back, and Jarrett was just left in the ring unconscious. I hate this Jeff Jarrett MJF stuff. It's stupid as hell. No one cares at all.
Yeah. Is AEW really supposed to make us think that he's eventually going to win the world title?
You know what I don't want to say this and put it out into the ether, but you know what might happen? I don't think he wins the world title, but there is a way he gets a world title shot.
I got a pay-per-view?
Yes. And hopefully it's not All In. Because how did Brian Danielson get his title shot last year at All In? By winning what?
The Owen Hart Classic.
What is Jeff Jarrett keeps saying he needs to do? Win the Owen for Owen. He didn't get it last year, but now his goal this year is to get a title shot. So what better way of getting that title shot and possibly getting the title is by winning the Owen in memory of his best friend or one of his closest friends ever, Owen. And if the winner of the Owen gets a shot at their biggest, oh my God, just think about that. Jeff Jarrett in the main event of their biggest pay-per-view of the year for the world title.
That would probably go down as one of the worst pay-per-views in wrestling history with that as your main event.
I don't know about that, because it probably wouldn't do as bad as some of these late 99, 2000 WWE pay-per-views, but I get where you're coming from. Like, and granted, they could change it and say the winner of the Owen doesn't get a shot at All In this year. Because, Tony doesn't like to keep things the same. He likes to change things every year.
True.
So that is a possibility as well. But that was something that I was thinking of, and my friend brought that up to me. He was like, if Jarrett wants a title shot, a better way of him earning a title shot by doing it on Owen's name. I'm like, oh, no, don't do it. Don't tell me that. So backstage, Renee's with Ricochet, who she informs that Tony Khan told her if Swerve Strickland interferes in any way tonight, the match next week is off. Ricochet said that he's happy to hear that and says that, I got a lot to say, but I'm not going to say it tonight. I'll say it on Collision. Tonight, I got to take care of some business. I got to go fight AR Fox. I was like, oh, okay. So they did the whole, we'll hear from Ricochet thing. They announced it and promoted it, and he said, I'll talk on Saturday. Sure. And then this Ricochet AR Fox. Now, granted, the Ricochet AR Fox match was announced very late in the day. So this could have been one of those dominoes that fell for the Hobbs stuff, and this was added to fill time for whatever they had to pull Hobbs out of. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know that for sure, but that would make a lot of sense as far as from when this match was announced later this evening. Makes sense. As far as Ricochet and AR Fox does go, it was an okay match. Nothing special or anything. Just like Swerve and AR Fox was nothing special. It was just a okay, solid TV match. So, Fox worked an early headlock as he kicked Ricochet away in the corner and hit a jumping stunner, followed by a corkscrew brainbuster that sent Ricochet to the outside. Fox cleared the top rope for a dive, and Taz said that he flew like a rocket ship Jones. Fox wanted a DVD on the apron, but Ricochet floated into it, or floated out of it and into the ring, and hit a hip toss on the apron. Ricochet then teased a dive, but put the brakes on it, and then just yelled at the crowd. After a commercial break, Ricochet was still in control, hitting the People's Moonsault for a near fall. Both men then got to their feet and got a full head of steam. They were going after each other, countering and ducking each other's moves before both trying a crossbody for a double down spot. At one point, Fox hit an enziguri and a leg capture DDT for a 2 of his own. There's an Icono slam into a pulling cutter that led to a picture perfect 450 for a close near fall, as Fox couldn't believe it. Ricochet then crawled to the apron, but held on to the ref as Fox pulled him back in. There's brief hesitation here that allowed Ricochet to hit the code breaker and get a 2 off of it. He loaded it up, hit the spirit gun, followed by the vertigo, and picks up the victory, pinning AR Fox. Before we get into the post-match, what did you think of the match itself?
It was all right.
As far as post-matches go, Ricochet grabbed the gold scissors from behind the turnbuckle and was able to use it when Swerve would appear. He dragged Ricochet to the outside and sent him crashing into the barricade in the steel steps. Now, this was apparently allowed because Swerve was not allowed to get involved during the match. But as soon as the match is over, Swerve can do whatever he wanted. That's kind of not what Renee said, but sure, whatever. She just said Swerve can't get involved in any way at all tonight, but okay, sure. So Strickland wanted a Swerve stomp, but Ricochet grabbed the down AR Fox and used him as a shield with the golden scissors to his throat. Ricochet then tossed Fox aside and bailed. Strickland stared him down, saying that there's nowhere to run next week. So next week in Atlanta, it will be Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland. Should be a good match. I have no qualms or anything about that, but it's just like, this feud has done nothing for me at all.
I mean, not necessarily. This match will feel like a Lucha Underground throwback.
Hopefully.
It should be.
Would be cool if I don't know if he would. Ricochet comes out with the Prince Puma mask on and then during the entrance pulls it off. That'd be kind of cool.
He pulls it off and he's like, Prince Puma's dead.
Oh, there you go. Well, technically, they can't use the name Prince Puma at all because Lucha Underground still owns the copyright of the name, the trademark.
Tony Khan will probably buy it. He'll buy any trademark that a wrestler wants.
Oh, not that easy to buy. Like, getting music is one thing. Buying a trademark, completely different. Not as easy.
He keeps saying in interviews, he's like, he's back in Mexico raising his family.
Yeah, no, he's great about that. We would then get the Renee Paquette Death Riders interview that we already recapped. Basically just Moxley yelling and getting pissed off, saying that he wants everyone to be like him. He's building an army. It's not just the 5 of them, and we'll learn what he means in due time. So the question is, they add more people to this group? Or is it Shane McMahon? Remember,
I don't know.
Remember, when he first started all this, he made it sound like, I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm being made to do all of this. Like there is a higher power. And now that I say that, oh Lord. Never mind, I'm not even gonna.
What were you about? Nah, never mind.
No, basically because I said higher power. And in WWE, Vince was revealed as the higher power. But originally, the plan Vince Russo wanted was to be Christopher Daniels as the higher power. So what if in the end, we realize that Christopher Daniels is the one pulling the strings with the Death Riders and telling them what to do? That'd make no sense.
That would have been hilarious.
Because remember, Vince Russo's plan originally was Christopher Daniels would be revealed as the higher power. And then eventually it was me, Austin. It was me all along. We got a 30-second AEW merchandise commercial. Daddy Magic is shown. Kind of like those old WCW ones. Or sometimes when WWE will do these, especially more around the holidays. Go to shopwwe.com and get your Christmas merch. Or like when they would do them with DX and they had the special new DX merch. And they would do something like, it was like 2008. They would do ones with DX shilling out merch and then Swoggle would show up when he was the DX mascot. We then got a commercial / trailer preview-ish for Jericho's new movie Dark Match, which comes out in theaters and on Shudder this weekend. This then leads to a New York Minute. We're eventually going to get Jericho and Big Bill, right?
Probably.
Because, like, Jericho will compliment Big Bill, but in the same sentence, like, talk down to him all at once. And Big Bill's just got to stand there and take it, but you could see on his face, oh, I'm going to beat this guy's ass eventually. So we got the New York Minute, as Jericho said that it's nice to be in the land of the Crimson Toad. Jericho said that his new movie is violent. And speaking of violent, Big Bill took out Powerhouse Hobbs last week. Bill said that he put Jericho's words into action and feels stronger because of it. Jericho said that he makes him proud of himself for being such a great mentor, but he didn't take Hobbs out permanently, which was the goal. So you're going to have to learn a little more. How are you going to learn? You're going to watch me and Brian Keith, the Bad Apple, take on the Outrunners. They say they're the oldest guys on TV, being on TV longer than ever. And Jericho goes, but I ain't never see you guys on TV before, AEW. Where'd you come from? I'm like, yeah, no. The Outrunners gimmick is cool, except for that one where they're like, we've been around forever. Really, they've only been around like something like Truth. I think Truth Magnum has been around since the early 2000s. I don't know about the other guy. But basically, when he says, you guys say you've been on TV forever, but I've never seen you before AEW, and Brian Keith goes, it's the Mandela effect. Jericho literally, I don't think he was expecting that, because Jericho literally just pauses. He goes, huh, that's a good idea. Like, he didn't expect it, and Brian Keith kind of like stumbled him up for a second. Jericho then waved goodbye and smirked, and everything went away. And Taz pointed out that the New York Minute is no longer a minute. It's longer than a minute. We then had Switchblade Jay White versus Wheeler Yuta. Not a bad match. Probably second best match of the night. I would still say the Osprey Brian Cage match was the best match of the night. That's probably number 2. So Yuta tried to attack right at the bell and nearly suffered a Blade Runner for his troubles, but scrambled to the outside to get away from it. Bell finally sounds, and again Yuta tried to take the powder, which got him back into the ring, and then White grabbed him by the goatee, fired off some chops. He had the guns up, back and hit a backdrop on Yuta, as Yuta was crotched on the ropes as well and ate another chop for good measure. He fell to the outside. White then continued to have his way with Wheeler Yuta, drop kick to the leg and hit a drop toe hold on the edge of the ring. He then trapped the ankle in the framing of the ring, allowing Yuta to, Wheeler Yuta then got control and put the ankle of White up against the framing of the ring and took control with a stomp on the knee of Jay White. Back inside the ring, there's a fisherman's suplex that got a near fall as Yuta stayed in control during a commercial break. When we return, White tried to mount a little bit of a comeback, but Yuta still had the advantage working on the leg. Yuta wanted a back suplex, but White fought out of it with a dragon screw. At one point, there was more chops to Yuta. He rolled through into a Uranagi, and there was a chop block. White then hit locked in a Boston Crab. White got to the ropes to get out of the Boston Crab, but Yuta hit an arm trap angle slam for a 2. There's anvil elbows delivered as White started firing up and hit a Uranagi of his own. White wanted a Blade Runner, but Yuta rolled through into a schoolboy. He hit a German suplex and got a near fall off of it. Yuta then looked for a splash and rolled through. Wanted the Busaku knee and ran right into a Blade Runner for a cool finish. So this is really cool the way the finish was. I thought this finish was very inventive because he's literally running at Jay White for the Busaku knee, and when he like does the jump up for it, White grabs him and immediately just falls right into the Blade Runner. It was super smooth. I like that. I like the finish. I thought the finish, oh, my nose, looked really cool. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah, one of those like smooth, cool, I've never seen something like that before kind of things. That is the one thing about AEW. They do have very, creative guys coming up with cool spots. But again, it's not all just about spots. It's about putting the whole package of a match together. And so it's like, yeah, we get these memorable spots, but then you forget almost everything else in the match.
That is true. That's something that does take away from it.
It's either that, we get that, or there's the point of the other issue AEW has is too many matches on the same show doing the same stuff. And that's what producers are supposed to be for. To, work over the match with your guys, then go to the other producers and this and that and make sure you go, oh, I got this big spot and no one else do it. Because, like, I forget when it was, but there was a show in 2023 for AEW. It might have been a Dynamite. And, like, 3 matches in a row, they all did a suplex on the apron. And, like, by the third match, you were just like, I get it. That's supposed to be like a devastating, I'm really hurting my opponent move. But when you see it for a third time in the same night, and in the last 2 matches, it had no effect really on the other wrestlers that took it. It's just like by that third time, it didn't mean as much. So that's why you need to have those producers getting together and being like, hey, my guy's got this. Don't do this, or let's do this, or change this up a little bit, something like that. That's the producers. One of the big things the producers are there for. But post-match, you get more old guy stuff. Just talk about old guys. Death Riders hit the ring and attack Jay White. Rated FTR come out to make the save. Cope shook White's hand, and Dax Harwood took the mic and said that he doesn't hate how the Death Riders operate, but he hates that they tried to end the life of a 67-year-old man that's one of his heroes, Ricky Morton, last year. Harwood said, Dennis Condrey is here. And on Collision, we challenge you guys to a Mid-South street fight. Got popped a little bit, and Excalibur goes, oh my God, some of the worst, most hardcore street fights ever came from Mid-South wrestling. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And the Death Riders just left through the crowd unamused. Any thoughts?
I mean,
now here's the question. Here's my question. It's FTR versus the Death Riders. Now, is it rated FTR or just FTR? Because Dax just said we. Is it all 3 of them? 3-on-3? Or is it
I don't
tag team?
I don't know. We'll see when they make the next poster for Dynamite or Collision or wherever the heck this match is going to be.
So it's being filmed tonight on Collision. Give me 2 seconds to go on Twitter and see if anyone. Let me see. Hold on. FTR. Let me go Mid-South street fight, because I never saw, and I probably just missed it, if they did any graphics for coming up this week on Dynamite or next week on Dynamite, Collision, this, that, and so forth. Like when they always run down the stuff. I never saw if they ever popped graphics towards the end of the show. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is it might be... Hold on. Maybe 2 more seconds. Let me refresh this. Well, it looks like it's FTR versus Moxley and Yuta, it might be. At least that's what people are assuming. Yes, I got the graphic here. It's John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta versus FTR in a Mid-South street fight this Saturday on Collision. Got it. I mean, cool, I guess. But it's like AEW overuses gimmick matches.
Yeah, they kind of do. There's the Texas Chainsaw street fight one year.
Well, don't even get me started about the Texas. Like, why did we need the Texas death match a couple weeks ago on Dynamite or Collision with Hangman and Daniels? Why at all did that need to be a Texas death match? Granted, good match. I watched it because everyone kept telling me I need to watch it because it was really good, and it was really good match on a Collision. But it's like, why was it a Texas death match though? It was their first and only match. Isn't that what you build up to? Not start with and end with at the same time?
Yeah, you got those type of matches. You got to end with it.
Ace Wars Gaming Rules with the bit donation. He says, do you think Monet is starting to be the female Kenny Omega by collecting belts? Well, Kenny Omega is not the first person to do the belt collector gimmick. Ultimo Dragon did it in the 90s, where he had just every cruiserweight and light heavyweight title. So it's like, I get where you're coming from, But I would never, and no disrespect, ever compare Mercedes Moné to Kenny Omega.
Remember when Austin Aries was the belt collector in 2017?
Yep, before Kenny did it.
That was I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I forgot until you just said it, but now you say it, and I can picture it. Boom, I can picture it.
He was the Impact champion. He was the Defiant champion. I can't remember what other belts he had.
I'll tell you right now. Austin Aries belt.
Well, Defiant's no longer a wrestling company.
Right. It was. Oh, this picture's kind of small. Hold on. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. He had the. Ooh, why is it not letting me zoom in? Looks like the ICW title, Defiant, Impact, and I don't know what this other one is. It says World Series Wrestling. Is that a UK thing?
I think it's regular indie World Series Wrestling.
Oh, yeah, he's got Defiant, what looks like the ICW logo, Impact, and then World Series Wrestling.
I think I see IPW as well.
Maybe it's IPW. The image I'm looking at, the top belt that he's got on him has a big glare on it, so it could be IPW instead of ICW.
It's IPW, I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha.
It's the IPW, Defiant, Impact, and I think the World Series one.
Okay, here's the one. Here's the one that I remember. He's got like 6 belts. Defiant, IPW, World Series, Defy, Impact, and Impact Global Championship.
Then they ended up retiring the Global Championship.
Right.
I forgot about that belt. That belt was very short-lived.
But yeah, he wasn't the first person to do this belt collector thing, because it was like Lance Storm had like 3 belts at one time back in the day. At one point, I mean, technically it was all the same company, but John Morrison, Johnny Mundo had like 3 different titles in AAA at once. So it's been done. At one point, Zack Sabre Jr. had like 3 or 4 different belts when Evolve was still a thing. Well, Osprey's had like 3 or 4 different belts at one point. But Ultimate Dragon was like the first one that everybody remembers having the 50 belts all on him.
Nick says, personally, I think they should be doing commercials with Matthew Menard a lot. God, that dude understands how wrestling works.
Oh, yeah, no. Matt Menard is freaking a gem. He is a total genius when it comes to wrestling. Like, he gets how to be an on-screen personality better than most.
Kid Vicious says, was Defiant purchased like ECW and WCW? No, I think they just went out of business because that's when NXT UK was starting up.
Yeah. I can tell you right now.
Because a lot of these UK wrestlers were going to NXT UK.
Yeah. It was so Defiant was so it started as What Culture Pro Wrestling, then turned into Defiant. And then in August of 2019, they were just like, yep, after 3 years, we're shutting down.
Man, remember when they were What Culture Pro Wrestling? They had that huge like 30-person Rumble where Drew Galloway defended the world title.
Yeah.
And guess who won that match?
Who? I don't remember.
Martin Kirby.
Damn.
That guy, I don't think that guy's wrestling anymore. I think he retired.
I remember Wade Barrett was like their general manager.
He was the GM when they became Defiant. Their whole thing was called We Are Defiant.
That's right. Moving forward here, we get a video package recapping the Toni Storm and Mariah May stuff from Collision, where she literally said, "You might be the woman from hell, but you come from my womb, and I'll spit you back out, because I am timeless, timeless, timeless Toni Storm, and I'm gonna rip your tits off." I'm like, okay, there you go. Emotion.
That's what I like to hear.
Emotion. Shoot you out my pussy and rip your tits off.
I don't even know if that's PG.
We ain't PG here.
Arm Week said, nah, I think Martin Kirby gets in the ring every now and then. He's semi-retired. Gotcha.
So then, Renee Paquette's on the top of the ramp at the top of the stage, and she brings out the AEW Women's World Champion, Mariah May. Tony Schiavone says she's the typical mean girl. And May says, it's great to be here in Huntsville. But Renee, maybe they should change the H to a C. I laughed a little bit. May then took the microphone and kind of scared Renee off. And she said, for all you people that think she's real, Toni Storm isn't real. Toni Storm is a fake, a fraud. She said, why doesn't she play the role of a woman who used her to win the gold? Oh, that's me. She should play the role of the worst and memorable moment when you were crying and bleeding in my hands. She said, you left AEW, Japan, and Mexico because you're not as good as me. You can't touch me. She then said, play whatever version of you want, because in the end, it'll still be the same. When you're in this good, and when you're this good as me, nothing will change. May said that she is the woman from hell and always will be. Something she'll remind Storm for the rest of her life. She said, look now and never forget, for this is your AEW Women's World Champion. She held up the belt, and the crowd was dead for all of it. Dead. Didn't care. And no Toni Storm. Toni did not come out. I don't know if she's going to be on the Collision show, which is being taped right now, but yeah. I'll say it. I've never been a fan of the timeless Toni Storm gimmick, but I will always give Toni Storm her flowers for playing that gimmick so well and getting the most out of it. And like I've said it before and I'll say it again. Why aren't people putting Toni Storm in fucking movies? I know she's going to be in that Mildred Burke movie upcoming, but the way she can like play all these different characters in wrestling, get her in goddamn Hollywood.
I mean, here's the thing I don't like about it. Because she was on a podcast saying Timeless Toni is retired. But then automatically she just comes back as Timeless Toni just like that. Like, come on.
Because that's the thing. She was trying to trick us all into thinking she is a new person. That was the trick. So on Collision, she said, the best role you can ever play, or the hardest role you ever play, is yourself. What she meant by that was being yourself, but in a way that you don't want people to know it's the real you. She thinks the real her is Timeless Toni Storm. So she played up the green new rookie Toni Storm and made everyone think that's what she thought she was, when all along she was Timeless Toni Storm, trying to fool everybody and fool Mariah and then get in under Mariah's skin and whatnot. So I don't know. It works to a degree because it's Toni Storm and she's just freaking great. But I can get where people don't like it or just whatever about it. We get a video package hyping up the impending return of the Guns. The Ass Boys are coming back soon. I've kind of missed them because they were starting to grow on me, especially when they've been with Jay White and Juice. Before I was just like, oh, they're Bailey's kids, whatever. They're gonna just be used to get other people wins. But like once they were added in and they did the Bang Bang Gang and all that stuff, I'm like, no. These guys, they got something that they've learned from their dad about being entertaining. So I'm glad that they're coming back because they were two guys that they were growing on me, that I was liking seeing on television. Let's see. My notes just froze. Let me refresh really fast. We got a video packet. Nope, I already read that one. Here we go. We're told Daniel Garcia will defend the TNT Championship against Kyle O'Reilly and Lee Moriarty in a three-way on Collision. And I go, what? Huh? How does that make any sense of anything? How is Kyle O'Reilly and Lee Moriarty getting a title shot?
I don't know. Like, Lee Moriarty is already a champion in ROH.
And then apparently they show clips of the past few weeks and like the three of them interacting. But it's like, what? This made no sense. What the frick? Match for match sake. Oh, we got highlights of the Hurt Syndicate winning the tag titles last week. MVP recognized Private Party for fighting hard, but it wasn't their fault for running into a dominant tandem like Lashley and Shelton. He said they will hold these titles for as long as they choose. He said, name the time and place. The Hurt Syndicate will come and hurt people.
Hey, yo, we hurt people. We hurt people. Hey, yo, we hurt people.
We got another video package of international champion Konosuke Takeshita. Shows his recent success in winning the Never Openweight Championship and defending it. And I'm like, okay, better late than never. But that was like almost a month ago now. Backstage, Taya, I don't know why I kept saying Taya Valkyria and Deonna Purrazzo were...
Okay, never mind.
What?
Nah, I thought you mispronounced Taya's name at one point.
Well, I said Tyra by accident instead of Taya.
No, like the second time.
Oh, Taya Valkyria. It's Valkyrie, I mean. Taya Valkyrie.
Taya Valkyrie.
It's all Taya Valkyrie, Lyra Valkyria. It all blends fucking together.
Hey, I thought Lyra's last name was actually Valkyrie.
So I guess these two are called the Vendetta. They're usually normally on Collision, so that's why we barely ever see them. Anyways, Taya Valkyrie and Deonna Purrazzo say moments from now, they'll see Mercedes Moné defend her title against Yuka Sakazaki. Purrazzo said, it should have been her in this match. But Valkyrie said, Harley Cameron stuck her balloons where they don't belong. Now, Cameron belongs to the Vendetta on Collision, and they're coming to collect. So, yeah. Basically, she said, Harley came out with her big fake titties and screwed me. Well, that's exactly what happened. She screwed her on Collision in the 4-way to earn the shot tonight. Before we get into our main event, we got to talk about the sponsor of this video, David's Cookies. Let's hear a word from them. When it comes to delicious, there's nothing quite like David's Cookies 5-pound cookie and brownie tin. Imagine the joy of opening a tin filled with an irresistible assortment of freshly baked cookies and rich, fudgy brownies. Perfect for sharing with family, gifting to friends, or indulging yourself. This tin is packed with love and flavor. Whether it's for a special occasion or just because, make every moment sweeter with David's Cookies 5-pound cookie and brownie tin. Order now with our link in the description below. Hit that QR code on the screen or use our link, pwunlimited.co/David's Cookies now to get yourself or someone special that ultimate dessert experience. As far as the main event does go, it's Mercedes Moné defending the TBS Championship against Yuka Sakazaki. And so they come out and they say the champ gets to come out whenever she wants. She can come out first. She can come out second. It's champ's prerogative. She comes out first. Yuka then comes out second. Go to the ring. They send it to Justin Roberts. Justin Roberts introduces Yuka. Pretty good reaction. Not great, but pretty good for Yuka Sakazaki. Then he introduces your TBS champion, Mercedes Moné, and the crowd goes mild. They barely react for Mercedes. And so I post a little clip of it. Taz saying, oh, I must not like her here in Huntsville because she's from Boston. Which is Taz basically saying, oh shit, this crowd doesn't care about her. And everyone's like, it's because it was a bad crowd. It's because she's from Boston. And I'm like, no, it's because they don't like her. And AEW fans have not liked her. And she barely ever gets good reactions. Sometimes she does. But most of the time, they don't care for Mercedes. And they showed it again tonight.
No, that's like everywhere. That's everywhere they don't like her.
Like there's been when she debuted in Boston, of course, she got a good reaction. but 99% of the time, And then I had one guy go, but what about all them CEO chants? You know that's her music, right? Whenever they're chanting CEO, CEO. Yes, we have seen some crowds chant along with it. But when it sounds like they're chanting every week, they're not. It's the music. It's piped in to the music. Anyways, both ladies trade wrist locks and headlocks and hammer locks. Monet hit a shoulder tackle and did her dance. But Sakazaki kept up fast sequence here, hit a shoulder block of her own, and mocked the dance. Monet then whiffed on an arm drag. This didn't look good at all. And Sakazaki got a rolling high stack for a 2. Monet then dodged a sliding lariat into a roll-up for a 2 of her own. Both ladies then were up, and Mercedes hit a springing arm drag. Taz said, I can't talk right now. Some people despise Monet, but it could just be jealousy. No, they just don't really like her. They don't want her in AEW. Sakazaki then blocked the baseball slide, mocked Monet again, who she then hit with a spinning kick on the apron. Sakazaki went to the top for a dive, but Monet wisely bailed out of the way. Sakazaki tried to boot her from the apron, but Monet swept out the leg and hit a diving Meteora, taking control going into a commercial break. Monet remained in the driver's seat as we come back from the break, but Sakazaki countered a powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana. Monet then missed a corner Meteora, and Sakazaki missed a first springboard attempt of something, I don't know what, and then hit the second one, which was a drop kick. Got 2 off it. There's a brainbuster and a sliding lariat that connected for a near fall as Monet responded by floating over a suplex with 3 amigos. Monet then took way too long to kind of gain her momentum here and go to the top rope as she was cut off with a step-up forearm and a superplex. As you come towards the end of the match here, Sakazaki wanted to go for a merry-go-round, but Monet spun out of it. Tried the Monet Maker, only for Sakazaki to land on her feet and hit a thrust kick. There's a merry-go-round hammerlock slam that connected for a close near fall towards the end of the match. Monet avoided a charge with the head scissors into the corner, leading to a backstabber into a statement maker. Sakazaki rolled into a pin attempt and got a 2 off of it. She hit a rolling elbow and a pin attempt for a near fall. Monet then trapped her in the corner, where Sakazaki hit a snap German suplex. As she went for the magical girl splash, though, Monet got the knees up, pump knee, powerbomb Monet Maker, and pinned her to pick up the victory. So Mercedes does retain the TBS Championship in a just okay main event. Nothing special at all. What'd you think?
This main event was not worth it. If you would have told me this was the main event, I would turn off my TV.
Oh, I was thinking the same thing. When they were coming out for their match, and I go, 47? Oh, shit, this is the main event? Granted, I will say, the show was easy to watch and it flowed very well. So by the time it got to this match, I thought there was a lot more time still left on the show. But, like I said, when this match, I realized it was the main event, I was just like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see these quarters. This last half hour is probably gonna derp. But let's get the poll going on Twitch really fast. I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. As far as that does go, you know what we thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Dynamite. So let's go refresh all them polls. The poll is also live on Twitch. As far as the Threads poll does go, 67% liked the show, 33% thought it was just okay. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 55% didn't like the show. 25% thought it was good. They liked it. And 18% thought it was just all right. Oof. Looking at the, let's see. Looking at the Twitter, no, the YouTube community poll. 59% liked the show. 22% didn't like the show. And 19% thought it was just all right. This person says, everything was a foregone conclusion. Not gonna lie, I actually passed out watching the show. This was boring. She said this was some WWE levels of boring.
Wow.
Granted, I haven't been bored with Raw in a while. SmackDown, a 3-hour SmackDown, I don't know. They stretch a lot on those 3-hour SmackDowns. As far as the live poll does go, 51% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 25% didn't like it. And finally, as far as Twitch, 50% thought it was just all right, 25% liked it, and 25% didn't like it. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Now, coming up this Saturday, we're going to be doing our WWE Royal Rumble recap breakdown podcast. Got a very special guest I'm going to be doing this show with for the first time. Should be really cool. Not sure exactly how that's going to go, but you guys are going to want to be there live. You guys are going to want to be there live because we are doing a special giveaway in conjunction with Big Shots. Big Shots basically makes like a new version of the Wrestling Buddies, and they are going to be giving the winner of our giveaway during the Royal Rumble recap a $100 gift card to their website to spend however you want. So that's pretty really cool. As long as you are watching live during the recap, you are able to enter into the giveaway. But Luke, tell me where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at Petkey_21, over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke, and also this weekend I will be at the Royal Rumble and WrestleCon this weekend. So for anyone who is going and you see me there, please say hi.
Go find Luke and give him a shout out, give him a high five, a dab, whatever you want to do. Luke going to be the man of the people this weekend.
I already have a feeling. I feel like someone's already going to recognize me.
There'll be like over 60,000 people in that damn building for Royal Rumble. There'll be a lot of people there.
I feel like at WrestleCon, I feel like I'm probably going to have one person recognizing me.
Very good chance. Very, very good chance. But with that, guys, see you back here live Friday for SmackDown and then Saturday for the Royal Rumble. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. All right, real quick, if you're still watching on